Good evening. This is the 18 WJTS News. I'm Charlotte Olson. Last night, the Greater Jasper Consolidated School Board listened to reports with the status of the Career and Technical Education program. The first was the approval of all budgets and resolutions for adoption and how well the school corporation fared in ISTEP testing. Jared Howard, the director of Patoka Valley and Perry County Career and Technical Cooperative, who also works out of the district office and serves 10 school corporations within southern Indiana, he presented the latest enrollment information for CTE programs within District 47 and also shared the headway that it's making in several counties. The Career and Technical course offers a broad spectrum of educational programs that promote high-skilled and high-wage occupations and also include everything from welding to health sciences all the way to ag programs. However, next on the agenda were test results from ISTEP testing figures for the 2017 school year. These were presented by Assistant Superintendent Todd Hitchcock. Hitchcock noted that the end of the 2018 school year will be the last year that the school will be administering the ISTEP test, as this spring of 2019, the state will officially implement the iLearn testing. Hitchcock answered questions after his presentation as curious board members inquired what the new iLearn testing format will look like for future students. Hitchcock says that the new iLearn test will vary from the ISTEP test that we're used to, and that it will be administered in a single test at the end of the school year, and it will also feature computer adaptive testing. This means that the test will now either get easier or get harder depending on how students answer previous questions. This computer adaptive testing will be used for the math and English portions given to grades 3 through 8. However, for the science and social studies tests administered throughout the 4th, 5th, and 6th grades, those tests will still adhere to a more traditional format. Specifically, Jasper High School saw some scores rise slightly and also some fall with the latest results. For the math and English language arts area of testing, grades 3 through 8 throughout the corporation, 894 participants out of 1,381 passed the administered exam, leaving the corporation to see a passing percentage of 64.7%, which is an improvement from the previous year, which was at 64.1%. In combined testing for math and English in grades 10, there were 120 passing out of 278 tested, leaving the school with a passing rate of 43.2%, which was down from last year's numbers. The bill that created iLearn testing, House Bill 1003, included a provision that gives local school districts autonomy on how to use student ISTEP scores and teacher evaluations for upcoming school years as well. An Evansville man was arrested this past weekend for boating while intoxicated and public indecency, while a female passenger was also placed under arrest on similar charges on West Boggs Creek Reservoir north of Lagodi this past weekend. Conservation officers with the Indiana Department of Natural Resources say that a boat operated by 48-year-old Robert Troy McCutcheon of Evansville was stopped early Sunday evening by conservation officers for having an expired registration. Officers say around 6:30 p.m. they observed McCutcheon and a passenger, 45-year-old Melissa Crane of Bedford, in a state of nudity. An investigation determined that McCutcheon showed signs of impairment, and they say that initial blood draw results showed that McCutcheon had a blood alcohol content of 0.306%. He was arrested without further incident for boating while intoxicated and public indecency. Crane was also arrested for public intoxication and public indecency, and both were taken to the Daviess County Security Center. Indiana conservation officers remind us that boating publicly, that drunk driving laws also apply to watercraft operations. A conviction for driving a boat while intoxicated can result in fines and also costs, loss of driver's license, and a loss of boating privileges. A Washington native is the latest to be promoted to Brigadier General in the Indiana National Guard. General Tim Tomlinson received his stars during a ceremony at Franklin. Tomlinson was named Assistant Adjutant General and will work alongside Major General Courtney P. Carr, who leads 14,000 service members within Indiana. Tomlinson says that he's humbled and honored to have the opportunity to continue to serve in one of the top National Guard states in the nation. He says it's exciting to assist Major General Carr in continuing to reach readiness milestones within their units, as well as developing Indiana's National Guard installations to be premier in training locations for soldiers, airmen, and also for partners. Tomlinson worked several jobs before he went full-time with the National Guard in 2001 and has been full-time ever since. During this time, he has also made his way home after being assigned to the infantry and worked in command of the National Guard unit at the Washington National Guard Armory. For the last 2 years, he has served as the Indiana Army National Guard Chief of Staff, and he did do 2 tours overseas as part of the command of the deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. He now lives in Martinsville with his wife and 2 children. The DuBois County Community Foundation wants area residents to be aware of scholarship opportunities for 2018. Through the Lilly Endowment Community Scholarship Program, a full tuition 4-year scholarship will be awarded to one 2018 graduate of DuBois County High Schools. The scholarship provides full tuition, required fees, and an annual stipend of up to $900 per year for required books and also for required equipment for 4 years of full-time undergraduate study leading to a bachelor's degree at any Indiana public or private college or university accredited by the North Central Association of Colleges and Schools. The foundation will award over $90,000 in scholarship grants from various charitable scholarship endowments. Students' eligibility is determined by his or her respective high school from which they are graduating and or have graduated from, and the specific criteria of each scholarship offered. Employer-based scholarship opportunities are also available for dependents of employees of Best Home Furnishings and Park Bell Ltd. And a new timeline for DuBois County Community Foundation Scholarship Program scholarship applications for both programs are now available online. The applications will close this coming Sunday, October the 1st. The fall application date represents an earlier timeline for the Community Foundation Scholarship application and will now be in conjunction with the Lilly Scholarship Program. Additional information and applications for both programs can be accessed through the DuBois County Community Foundation website, which is www.dccommunityfoundation.org. If you have more questions, feel free to contact Nona Baker at the Community Foundation, and her number is 812-482-5295. Governor Eric Holcomb has declared this week through Saturday, September the 30th, as Indiana Rail Safety Week in conjunction with U.S. Rail Safety Week that will take place in all 50 states. State officials say that their goal is to increase rail safety awareness by working together on National Rail Safety Week. Indiana State Police, the Indiana Department of Transportation, local law enforcement, and railroad companies have partnered together to help raise awareness about the dangers of disregarding railroad crossing laws and also trespassing on railroad property. Jessica Fetter, Executive Director of Indiana Operation Lifesaver, says that train versus car collisions are completely preventable. She says that Indiana law enforcement agencies and railroad special agents will be out monitoring railroad crossings and checking for trespassers during this week. She notes that they want public to know how important it is to pay attention at railroad crossings and that trespassing on tracks and property is dangerous and illegal. Indiana Operation Lifesaver has scheduled numerous enforcement blitzes throughout the state involving law enforcement agencies. In 2016, there were 116 railroad crossing collisions resulting in 36 people injured and 10 fatalities. Indiana is currently ranked 4th nationally for railroad crossing collisions. The Hoosier State has 7 trespasser deaths last year as well as 12 injuries. And Indiana Operation Lifesaver is a nonprofit organization dedicated to eliminating collisions, deaths, and injuries at highway rail grade intersections and also on railroad rights-of-way through public education, engineering, and enforcement. To learn more about Indiana Operation Lifesaver, you can visit them online at www.oli.org or call 812-528-4327. And keep it right here because up next we're going to take a look at your weather summary.